Welcome to the Hire Yourself podcast. Are you stuck in the corporate rat race, worrying about layoffs, and longing to take control of your destiny? This is the place for frustrated executives like you who want to escape the grind, live life on your own terms, and build wealth. Whether you're ready to make a full transition into franchise ownership or want to start building a side business along your corporate job, Pete guides you every step of the way. He'll talk about how to create career and income security, diversify your assets and income, and live life on your own terms. Your path to controlling your own destiny starts now.
Welcome to the Hire Yourself podcast. My name is Pete Gilfillan, and I am a former corporate executive. I am now an entrepreneur, best-selling author of the book Hire Yourself, and certainly a proud corporate escapee. You know, my mission in life is to help individuals, to help people escape the corporate world, to build wealth, to live life on their own terms, and certainly from the standpoint of everything else, is just that it comes with being an entrepreneur. And so today, what I thought we would talk about is there's some really compelling reasons to become an entrepreneur. And I work with about 150 executives each year, and it's interesting. And many of them say, you know, Pete, first of all, I want to be in control of my destiny. I want to have autonomy. I want to be in charge, have the freedom to make decisions, to set the course of my life, you know, that autonomy. And that's one of the benefits that I received when I decided to leave the corporate world and become a business owner, an entrepreneur. And I will never go back. The idea of not having a boss, not having artificial objectives, not sitting through senseless meetings where I can focus 100% of my attention to helping people make a difference in their lives. That is a true sense of independence where I am just focusing on helping others and not all the other stuff. You know, the second, I think, reason why it's great or a compelling reason to become an entrepreneur is you can pursue your passions, right? So if you're passionate about something or you're passionate about building something, like for me, it's not about the widget. It's really about this passion that I can build a business model where I'm taking great care of customers. I am bringing on great team members, and that helps everybody. A great service in the community, creating jobs, that's excellent, right? So it's that pursuit of passion. It doesn't have to be about the widget. It's really about what you're building and having that passion every day that you get up to make a difference in the world. Certainly, another great reason to consider becoming an entrepreneur is potentially a higher income. You know, when we're in a job, a corporate executive, you know, we're capped at what we can make. The cool thing about being an entrepreneur is that no matter what you do, you work hard, you're the one that's rewarded for it. So you got to go figure out what needs to be done, work your butt off. And bottom line is that you're not capped. So if you want to make more money, go work harder, go literally drive the business, but you are in control. And that's how entrepreneurs make more money, is that they have unlimited potential. And what I found one of the best reasons to become an entrepreneur is having that flexibility, that work-life balance. You know, when I was in the corporate world, I worked a lot of hours, I traveled a ton, and I wasn't there for my family. And when I became an entrepreneur, I still worked really hard, but the idea is that it could be on my terms. So if my daughter had a soccer game, I could literally go to the game. Now, that means maybe I got up earlier in the morning, got my work done. And when I got back from the soccer game, I had to do a little bit more. But bottom line is that I was in control. I had that work-life balance. And as we take a look at our lives, you don't get many chances with our kids. You know, from a standpoint, there's a great book out there called 18 Summers. And it really talks about this limited time we have with our kids. And so fortunately, I kind of figured this out quickly. I missed some years with my kids, but after I became an entrepreneur, I had that flexibility. I had that work-life balance that made such a difference in my life. And the cool thing about being an entrepreneur, another reason, is that you can innovate, you can change very quickly. You know, a lot of times with corporations bringing on new ideas, innovations, it's hard. It's hard to push those forward with a company. And with an entrepreneur, if you have an idea, you have an innovative thought or idea on how you could take care of the customers or an innovative product, it's just easier to be able to go forward with something like that. So you can create new products, you can create new services, you can essentially do anything you want from that standpoint. So It's all about kind of changing. And one of the cool things about becoming an entrepreneur is that as you work hard, as you build something, if you work hard in the corporate world and you build something, bottom line is that it's not yours. It's not your asset. And I think about a guy that I worked with. He was a senior level executive. He worked for a very large company, and they had him start a division from ground zero. And he built this, worked 10 years on building up this company for this large corporation. And bottom line is, after 10 years, they basically moved him to a new job, and he didn't get any benefit from all that hard work. When you're a business owner, you can build that business. It's an asset you could sell, or it can be a legacy for your family. So there's many different things, but I love the idea that you can build something you can pass on to your kids. And it might not be that they're necessarily running the business, but you're building an asset that you could potentially give to them. Or maybe it supercharges your retirement. Whatever it is, you can certainly build a legacy with the franchise. And I always think of my buddy that is an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, and he says, when you're a business owner, you can be hyper local. As a corporate executive, you are working for a large corporation, but it's hard to get connected in the community. And so this idea of being an entrepreneur, you can sponsor the Little League, you can be part of the Chamber of Commerce, you're engaged in the community. And that's such a special thing because communities, that's how we can make an impact in the world, is in our community. And so I love that idea of being an entrepreneur where you can literally be engaged and obviously make an impact in your community. And as an entrepreneur, another great thing is that you can invest in your personal growth. And this is something that I learned from Darren Hardy. Darren Hardy is my mentor, a business guru, personal development guru. If you don't see Darren daily, you need to go. It's a free resource. Darren Daily provides essentially feedback or gives you lessons on life, on business and stuff like that. And again, it's free. So you got to go to Darren Daily, subscribe. It's free, 7-minute video. And I promise you, it's golden for you in terms of stuff. And what I learned from following Darren Hardy, going to many of the different things, is that you need to invest in yourself. And as a business owner, you can invest in yourself. I've been to a ton of business mastery classes, productivity classes, webinars, seminars, all that kind of stuff. And so if you can continue to grow as an individual and invest in yourself. So Darren would say, hey, take 10% of your earnings and put it back into teaching yourself. And I'm a huge proponent in kind of that personal growth. And it's nothing better as an entrepreneur because you're controlling that growth. You're always learning. You're building those skill sets from the standpoint. And the cool thing about being an entrepreneur is that, as we talked about being hyper local, it is cool that you can create jobs in the community. And more importantly, create jobs where you can help develop people, help people build better lives. Maybe they progress in your company, they get more skills, they make more money, they have a better lifestyle for their family. And you're in control of your environment as an entrepreneur. And I think of my buddy who owns some salon suites. And they essentially lease out suites to artisans like hairstylists and so forth. And the idea is that he kind of shared with them is that his community of stylists within his salon suite, he says, this is my happy place. And if somebody is negative, they're not allowed to stay. We move them along. This is about controlling your environment. It's also about the idea of the people that work with you. You can control that. In a corporation, you don't necessarily have that control. With a business, you can be in control of your environment. And that is a really kind of special thing. So as an entrepreneur, there's so many different things. We can build wealth, we can control our schedule, we can create something that we can pass on to our families, we can make a difference in our community, we can help others grow. So that is why being an entrepreneur can be so impactful and why you should consider maybe making the shift from being a corporate executive to owning your own business. And that's it for the Hire Yourself podcast.
Thanks for joining us on the Hire Yourself podcast. Pete's here to help you break free from the corporate rat race, take control of your destiny, and finally live life on your own terms. Whether that's jumping into franchise ownership full-time or starting it as a side hustle. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, share it with a fellow frustrated executive, and leave a review to let us know your thoughts. Ready to start building your bridge to freedom? Visit hireyourself.com for resources, insights, and a clear path forward. Until next time, take charge, build your future, and live life on your own terms.